Okay, this is my long-awaited postpartum video that I was supposed to make like 3 weeks ago and I never did. I sat down to make it and honestly I just didn't know what to say, and I still kind of don't know what to say, but I feel like since I said I was going to upload a postpartum video that I had to say something. So here it goes. So for those of you that don't know, Kaylee was born via C-section on June 11th, 2010 at 10:04 p.m. and it was unexpected. I found out that day that I was going to be delivering, and I had the choice of being induced or having a C-section, and I actually did have an induction scheduled for June 21st. So she was 10 days before the induction, and my actual due date was July 14th. Well, it was a window between the 7th and the 14th, but anyway, so she was quite a bit early, and I ended up choosing C-section. And the reason why is because in order to be induced, you have to get something called Pitocin, and it speeds up, you know, the contractions and all that. Well, I had preeclampsia, and the Pitocin would have messed with my blood pressure even more because my blood pressure was already messed up. So they would have given me the Pitocin. They would have had to give me even more blood pressure meds than I was already on, and then they would have had to give me magnesium sulfate to avoid the seizures, which they ended up having to give me anyway. But anyway, they would have for sure had to give me magnesium sulfate, and then magnesium sulfate actually counteracts the contractions, so it would have just been this huge, you know, my body would have been given all these different, you know, counteractive things, and my labor, they said probably would have lasted between 2 to 3 days, and it had a 50% chance of ending up in C-section anyways. So I decided to go the C-section route, and I'm really glad that I did. Even now when I look back on it, I'm really glad that I went that route. So she was born via C-section, and I don't take narcotics, so my recovery actually was really good even without the narcotic drugs. I took Tylenol and ibuprofen. And the major things that I can remember about my postpartum were the hardest thing to adjust was, you know, the sleep, obviously, the interrupted sleep. But like my body was just so like messed up anyways from the preeclampsia and then delivering. And then we went home for a day and then had to go back to the hospital, you know, because she had jaundice, and we were there for 2 nights. And I didn't sleep those 2 nights at all. I was all emotional because I had the pregnancy hormones running through me, and I was like bawling the entire time because she was under the lights, you know, and just in her little diaper and had little goggles on, and ugh. Anyway, so I was up and walking though before we left the hospital, before I was discharged after giving birth, so that was awesome. And then, like I said, we went back into the hospital for the jaundice, and then we got home, and then my body had a tough time adjusting to the interrupted sleep schedule because we were put on, we had to feed her every 3 hours, so we had to wake her, and that was really hard for me. I slept in the recliner. We have a big sectional, and part of it is reclining chairs, and I slept in the recliner, and it was amazing. It was so much easier for me to get up and down, and it hurt to lay down, like no matter which position I was in, and then like trying to use your stomach muscles to get up and off the bed was disastrous. So I highly recommend sleeping in a recliner if you have a C-section. But anyway, and then obviously I was hormonal. I cried the entire time we were in the hospital for jaundice, and then the day we got discharged from the actual hospital, like from delivering, they come and they take like this little mini photo shoot of your baby. Like they put her in a basket and wrap her up in a blanket, and then they send you the link to your email address, and it's like this little slideshow with music. And I could not watch that thing for like 2 to 3 weeks without bawling my eyes out and just being like, she's so beautiful, that's my baby. So anyway, and then, you know, they give you the option of what you want to buy, and I ended up just buying the entire like CD of prints because I couldn't make up my mind because I was so hormonal that I wanted like 10 of each print, which I think is kind of funny. I'm really glad I got all the images though, because she was only a couple days old, and those are, you know, that you're never gonna get that back. So anyway, and then so during the time that I was trying to adjust to the sleeping, I obviously was cranky. My poor husband. and he planned to take 2 weeks off work, but he ended up only really taking 1 off because he owns his own business. And so sometimes, you know, when you got to get up and go because you're the owner, you got to do what you got to do. So he actually ended up only taking off about a week, and that was kind of unfortunate because that was like the time that was spent in the hospital between me and Kaylee being jaundiced. So it was pretty tough on me, and so I was pretty cranky. But other than that, I mean, walking got easier every day. Like I said, I was walking before I left the hospital. And I kept trying to lay down. Like once a week, I just kept trying to lay down, and I would make myself turn over from side to side, you know, lay on my back and that kind of thing. And just to kind of remind my muscles that that's what they're supposed to do. And I have had just a super easy recovery, though, as far as a C-section goes, you guys, and without the narcotics. I haven't had any infections. I'm ready to like go out and start running again because I was training for a marathon when I found out I was pregnant. But I don't have clearance from my doctors yet because I'm still on blood pressure meds. So, but I feel great. My scar is barely visible. You can barely tell that it's there, which is awesome. But really, I mean, and I love being a mom, and I was kind of afraid that I would get the postpartum blues because I was very career oriented when I found out I was pregnant, and when I made the choice to be a stay-at-home mom, it kind of worried me. Like my mom was a stay-at-home mom, my husband's mom was a stay-at-home mom, and that's what we wanted to do. I didn't want somebody else raising my child. I didn't want her to be in daycare, but at the same time, I had all these plans, and I was just kind of like, whoa, you know, I'm gonna stay at home every day. What the heck? But it is amazing, and I love being able to hang out with Kaylee. I can't even describe it. Words can't even describe it. But anyway, so that's part of the reason why I haven't really done a postpartum video, is because like most people that do postpartum videos, I mean, have, you know, all these symptoms and all this stuff, and I just kind of feel like, you know, I got up the second day I was in the hospital and, you know, walked it off as much as I could and just have kept walking it off, and I'm completely fine now. It's crazy. So I guess I just don't feel like I have a lot of information to help people as far as my recovery has gone, because I've had such an easy one. And I like to say that the reason why I've had such an easy recovery is because my pregnancy was so tough, and she was so high maintenance inside the womb. But, so that's my postpartum update. Like I said, I really haven't had a lot of unusual things happen, or, you know, I feel like I just kind of started here and have kept going like that the entire recovery period, and I feel normal. So, anyway, thanks so much for watching, and in a second here, I'm going to check on my daughter because she's sleeping right next to me here in the crib. I'm going to do a Baby Kaylee's Daily Essentials video. So stay tuned for that, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope everyone is having a great day. Bye-bye.